Welcome, welcome, welcome to Sapphire Ridge News. Give people a few seconds to pile in here, and we'll get this horse out the barn. It's adjusted here. We have a good show lined up for you today. Kristi noem had her hearing to be the next Secretary of DHS, and I wanted to talk about the controversy that the mainstream media has bashed her as a puppy killer and all this kind of nonsense. Well, there's a lot to the story, and I have a video clip of why the puppy was put down. But let me preface it by saying this was not a puppy. It was a dog about a year and a half old. It killed chickens, it killed goats, it killed calves. It was a livestock protection dog. It's supposed to be protecting the livestock, and it was killing the livestock. And it bit several members of her family, bit four different trainers. Ranchers are not going to put up with that. And the Bleeding Heart liberals are trying to make it out like it was a puppy, like it was a pet. No, it wasn't. It was there to guard the livestock, and it was unaliving the livestock. And so, being a rancher, they're taught you take things into your own hands. You don't put off your responsibility that someone else should take up your responsibility. They're taught you take care of your ranch, you take care of your animals. They don't take a dog to a vet. If it needs shots, they give it the shots, unless it's a vet only shot. So I wanted to make clear before I played the video clip of what the true story was. Once again, the mainstream media lies to us and people believe it. So let me play the video clip and we'll get going.
What happens if you are debating Kamala Harris and she says, well, wait a second, you shot your dog and you wrote a book about it, bragging about it. How can you be vice president?
You know, that story was a choice as a mom. The safety of my children versus a dangerous dog that was killing livestock and attacking people. So this book that I've written is full of stories of my past, hard decisions, and I told the truth. And I think that's very different than a lot of politicians that we have today.
Do you regret telling that story? Do you feel like, oh, maybe I should have said it? Do you understand why people don't like that story?
Well, everybody's known that story for years. That's what most people don't realize, is that in South Dakota, they've used that story to attack me in my political campaigns for years. I wanted people to know the truth. This dog was vicious. It was dangerous. It was killing livestock for the joy of it and attacking people. And I had a choice between keeping my family safe. I had little kids at the time. A very public business of inviting people out to come out and enjoy our hunting lodge and our business. And I don't pass my responsibilities off to anybody else. So that story is in the book because I want people to know that I'm honest and that when I have difficult jobs, that I take responsibility myself.
All right, so you're standing by the dog story.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's the facts.
Okay,
that's the facts. And I understand that they're attacking me for it, Jesse.
So the reason why I was able to follow up on this is because I live 67 miles from South Dakota. So being a local here, you hear the real story from ranchers. And I think it's important that we talk about real stories on this channel and not suck up to the lies from the mainstream media. We're here to tell the truth. Sometimes the truth hurts, but sometimes we have to point out the lies from the mainstream media. So let's go to the next clip.
The rest of the world, a reminder of what hope, independence, and freedom looks like. And sitting atop of that horse carrying the American flag is a lady that stands so strongly and passionately behind all of those ideals. Tonight we welcome Old Glory and the Honorable Governor of South Dakota. Choice for the next Secretary of Homeland Security for America. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Kristi Noem.
That's funny. Daddy's back. I have quite a few video clips for us today.
Just a few weeks ago, unfortunately, Americans were shocked to see two horrific incidents in New Orleans and Las Vegas, a deadly reminder that terrorism and radicalization remain very real and ongoing threats to our homeland. In my role on this committee, I've made combating foreign and domestic terrorism, as well as extremism, a top priority.
Listen to her
In this
answers
complex
and how
environment,
strong
it is
her answers
essential
are.
that DHS continue to focus on all terrorism threats, track and report data to Congress and to the American people, and coordinate between all components to ensure the department is effectively addressing all types of terrorist threats. We've also seen the persistent cyber attacks are still a very serious threat, in fact, an increasing threat. A recent attack from Chinese-based hackers infiltrated the Treasury Department, on top of ongoing Salt Typhoon hack that comprised numerous U.S. telecommunications companies. There's no question that DHS must continue to lead the way in protecting our networks from foreign adversaries, cyber criminals, and so-called hacktivists to prevent cyber attacks from becoming increasingly devastating to our security as well as to our economy. And finally, the Department of Federal Emergency Management Agency must continue to work hard to address the increasing number of natural disasters affecting our communities as a result of climate change. From violent storms like hurricanes that brought destruction to states across the South, to the devastating wildfires in California, and countless other severe storms and flooding events all across our country. We need leadership at the department that will ensure our nation effectively responds to communities when disaster strikes them. The safety and security of our nation and the American people depend on the department's ability to effectively address these wide-ranging threats. So, Governor Noem, thank you again for your willingness to serve in this incredibly important position. And thank you for being here today. I look forward to having a comprehensive discussion about how you intend to lead this critical department through a series of national security challenges, if indeed you are confirmed.
Okay, so
we need to do all that we can to work together, that he has the reassurance that the federal government, that the Department of Homeland Security is prepared to help him protect that event and to keep people safe while they are there. Those 382 terrorists or known terrorists that have come over our border, we don't know necessarily where they are because of what has been happening under Joe Biden's policies. Now, President Trump obviously won the last election with a clear mandate, and that mandate is for the American people to secure that border but also we need to focus on domestic terrorism and homegrown terrorism, which you just referenced in your question. Homegrown terrorism is on the rise. We see more and more incidents of people that are U.S. citizens that have become radicalized, and knowing when people are leaving the country and coming back and changes to their behaviors and what their actions are is critically important. So the resources that the Department of Homeland Security has needs to be utilized as far as identifying those threats and being proactive to prevent them, but also protecting civil rights and liberties in that process and making sure that the department is on mission to do what it was called to do, why it was created, and what authorities that Congress and the Senate has given them. My hope is that Governor Landry and his staff and his people and the people that attend the Super Bowl know that the Department of Homeland Security is their partner, is on watch to protect them and to keep that event safe. I hope all Americans know that leadership has consequences. I hope that we can get through and get your support for this nomination and get confirmed quickly so that we can address the threats that we currently face and make sure we don't have any repeats of the day that we saw just starting this year on New Year's Day.
In the last 2 years, we have seen increasingly aggressive and expansive cyber attacks against our federal agencies. Just last month, Chinese hackers infiltrated the Department of Treasury and stole.
I thought that was interesting, her take on the border and on cybersecurity. But I want to get next.
Reasons why South Dakota will continue to be an example to the nation. But before I go, there's one more thing that I wanted to talk to you all about. You probably know that President-elect Trump and President Trump have called on me to serve, if confirmed, as the next Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. It's a tremendous honor and a great responsibility. The mission of the Department of Homeland Security is to keep the American people safe from the threats to the homeland. Now, the situation at our southern border is nothing short of an invasion. And over the last 4 years, America's border security has been purposely weakened and ignored. Our laws have not been enforced, and this has led to millions and millions of law enforcement encounters with illegal aliens. That doesn't include the millions of gotaways that we're aware of. And it doesn't include the ridiculous number who got in through the CBP One app. And it doesn't include the many thousands who caught a free plane ride into our country, courtesy of the federal government. Now, too many of these individuals disappear while they wait for an asylum hearing before ever showing up for a hearing, sometimes years later. As you know, I've taken a stand against this invasion. We've deployed our South Dakota National Guard to our southern border 8 times, and that includes 5 state deployments to support Texas's work to stop the flow of illegal aliens. I went to the border myself several times, and I saw the illegal immigrants infiltrating our country. I saw our National Guard troops enforcing our laws and building a wall. Ladies and gentlemen, leadership has consequences. And we see the consequences of Washington's indecision right here in South Dakota. We've seen activity from cartels and their affiliates in some of our poorest communities, and our states around the other country, around the rest of the country, see it as well. Increased crime, increased drugs, overdose deaths, violence, rape, human trafficking, and murder. Even known terrorists have crossed our border amongst the illegals, and they could be anywhere. The invasion is an existential threat to America, and it threatens our national security and our economy. So the basic question is this: what kind of country do we want to leave to our families? I want to leave them a state and a nation that's even safer and stronger and freer than the one that I grew up in. That leaves me in a position where I may say farewell to all of you in the very near future.
Yeah. Some of these clips on TikTok are suddenly cutting short. What I want to play now is part of her opening statement.
My goal and my mission is to build trust. We will undertake a large job and a large duty that that we have to fulfill, that the American people expect us to do by securing our border, to make sure that our nation is a nation with borders, or we're no nation at all, and that we are making sure that those criminal actors that are perpetuating violence in our communities and in our cities and towns and states are removed from this country, that there's consequences for breaking the law in our country again. There has to be consequences, because when Americans break the law, there's consequences. And why would we ever allow someone to come in from another country and not allow them, and not have consequences, or allow them to continue to go forward and to commit rape and murders and break other laws that endanger our society. So we've had over 13,000 murders that are loose in this country that have come over that border. We've had almost 16,000 rapes and sexual assault perpetuators that are loose in this country right now. 425,000 plus people have criminal convictions that are here illegally in this country that our current administration is doing nothing to round them up and get them out of our country. We will be doing that immediately, and that will be the priority. And that is one of the reasons that today the American people have lost their trust. President Trump will build it back and know that their federal government is accountable to them and is working to put America first again. My goal and my mission is to
Okay.
But I hope will soon be the distinction of succeeding. But I hope will soon be the distinction of
It's on there twice. So what is the deal here?
we need to do all that we can to work together, that he has the reassurance.
Something is not right here, but I don't know. Let me see if I can load it again. Where is it at? That one and that one. Add. I had a whole bunch of video clips, and it appears that some of them didn't load, so they're loading now. After we watch these last 3 video clips, I'm open to discussions. This is a short one.
Now, Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution provides that the United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion. So who repels those invasions? Well, Article 1, Section 8 provides for a calling forth of the militia to repel invasions. Article 1, Section 10 provides for states to enter into compacts with other states if they are actually invaded. Now, Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution.
It's the same one. Here, this girl was on TikTok, and I thought she had an interesting take on Kristi Noem.
If you are one of those people who like to say that you hate President Trump, you are going to filter, no matter what, you are going to filter anything he says or does into why you think it's evil. And you're doing that at your own cost. A lot of you like to say, Trump's a womanizer, Trump hates women. Babe, half of his cabinet are women. Like, it truly just blows my mind how people can still think that Trump hates women when he has shown multiple times he does not hate women. He respects women. In fact, his first cabinet pick was a woman, Susie Wiles. So if he hated women, his whole cabinet would be men. But no, there are multiple women in his cabinet. In fact, to make it a little easier for you to understand, I will list them for you and what they do. Because apparently there's like a misunderstanding here and people are still saying that Trump hates women, which is False. Trump does not hate women. Do your research.
I thought that was interesting.
Senators are preparing to question Homeland Security Secretary nominee, current South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem. But first, Noem is being sworn in before giving her opening statement. Let's listen in as she speaks there on Capitol Hill.
Resource to me throughout this process and given me much wisdom as well as insight into the thoughts and the procedures of the Senate and this body. And I'd also like to express my gratitude to Senator Thune, the majority leader of this esteemed body. He's been an advisor to me for many years as well as a friend. And I'm so grateful for the generous support of these two men and their willingness to be here this morning to speak on my behalf and to introduce me to this committee. Now, I'm a wife and a mother and a grandmother, a farmer, rancher, business person. I've served in our state legislature in Congress for 8 years and also a governor. I've spent my entire life in rural America. I understand what it means to work hard every single day and to build a better future for your kids and for all of our communities. I come before you today with a deep sense of responsibility and a humility as the nominee to lead the Department of Homeland Security, and also a commitment to the more than 330 Americans who we will work together to help serve and to keep safe and secure in their homes and in their communities. Now, before I proceed, I want to introduce to you my husband, Brian, who's here with me today. He is my constant 24/7 reminder of our dedication to public service and that it's not a solo effort or done alone. He has been a rock by my side, and I appreciate all of his love over so many years. I'm grateful that he's here with me today. Now, securing our homeland is a serious, sacred trust that must be relentlessly pursued and can never be taken for granted. Being safe within our borders here in America is critical, and yet Americans feel less safe than they have felt in decades. For the first time in 30 years, more than 40% of Americans are afraid to walk alone at night within a mile of their homes. President-elect Trump is going to change that. I've seen firsthand the challenges and the opportunities facing our great nation. In the 20 years since the Department of Homeland Security was formed, the nature of the threats to our homeland has grown and they've evolved. This department was created in response to the failures of the government that led to the September 11th, 2001 terrorist attacks. And that reality is not lost on me, especially in the wake of the recent terrorist attacks over New Year's. Now, I've led South Dakota for the last 6 years with a focus every day on making our state safer, stronger, and freer. I focused every day on making the best decisions, not just for right now, but for generations to come. I've overseen a state budget of over $7 billion and a state employee workforce of more than 13,000, including more than 7,000 that report directly to the governor. I've addressed important issues like cybersecurity, human trafficking, drug interdiction, and also natural disasters, the same challenges that are facing so many of you and the people that you represent back home. I've secured our state and supported the rule of law. And if confirmed as the 8th Secretary, that is the same approach that I will take to leading the Department of Homeland Security. As we face the evolving threats of the 21st century, the mission and the success of DHS is more critical than ever. We must be vigilant and proactive and innovative to protect the homeland. The challenges in front of us are extremely significant, and we must secure our borders against illegal trafficking and immigration. We must safeguard our critical infrastructure to make sure that we're protected against cyber attacks, respond to natural disasters, and also terrorism. I firmly believe that we can meet those challenges head on with resolve. Innovation, we can use collaboration with federal and with state partners. And senators, I want your input. Border security must remain a top priority. As a nation, we have the right and the responsibility to secure our borders against those who would do us harm. And we must create a fair and a lawful immigration system that is efficient and is effective and that reflects our values. President Trump was elected with a clear mandate. He needs to achieve this mission because 2/3 of Americans support his immigration and border policies, including the majority of Hispanic Americans. I was the first governor to send National Guard troops to our southern border when Texas asked for help and when they were being overwhelmed by an unprecedented border crisis. If confirmed as Secretary, I'll ensure that our exceptional, extraordinary Border Patrol agents have all the tools and resources and support that they need to carry out their mission effectively. The same is true of my commitment to the outstanding men and women of the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. They are responsible for apprehending, detaining, and deporting illegal immigrants. And getting criminal aliens off of our streets and out of the country will help American communities be safer again. The bravery and the dedication of the Border Patrol and ICE are unmatched, and I will restore dignity to their work. The rising threat of cyber attacks also demands our utmost attention, and our critical infrastructure, from energy grids to financial institutions, is under constant attack by foreign adversaries and criminal actors. As Secretary, I will prioritize a comprehensive, whole-of-government approach to cybersecurity. In fact, in the coming days, we have to plan bigger and think faster and smarter. I fully acknowledge that people in Washington, D.C. do not have all of the answers, and therefore I will leverage private-public partnerships. I'll advance cutting-edge, state-of-the-art technologies to protect our nation's digital landscape. And I will have a proven track record of doing this in South Dakota to back me up. I've helped make Dakota State University a global leader in cybersecurity education because we recognize the need to address this emerging threat. And I will take a proactive approach if given the opportunity to serve as Secretary. Now, President-elect Trump has been a tremendous friend to law enforcement over the years, and I will do the same in my role as Secretary. As Governor, I've worked closely with law enforcement to make South Dakota safer. I've overseen hundreds of state troopers in the South Dakota Highway Patrol, and on several occasions, I've convened groups of law enforcement from across our state to address policies that will make our people safer. In fact, while some in this country were attacking law enforcement and defunding them, we took the opposite approach in South Dakota. We recruited law enforcement officers to move to South Dakota, a state that respects their service and their sacrifice. And we revamped our law enforcement training to provide the first ever state-led, tribal-focused law enforcement training academy. I'm very proud of the work that we've done in cooperation with our tribes to help make their communities more safe. And we must remain vigilant against terrorism and against others who wish to do us harm to our country and to our great people. I'll ensure that our intelligence and our law enforcement agencies are working together hand in hand, that they're fully equipped to detect, prevent, and respond to threats from radical ideologies and foreign adversaries. This requires resources, coordination.
Yep. Before I switch screens here, I saw a picture of Trump today that they're going to use for his inauguration picture, and it struck me how much he's aged since September. Let me just show that to you. Let me fix this. Look at how much he's aged. He's completely gray-headed. Before September, he was not completely gray-headed. And I thought, wow, he has really aged, but he's still sharp as a tack. I love this look on him too. And it's just, I thought, wow, I've got to show that to my people. Got to show them how much he's aged in 3 months, almost 4. We have to, we have to keep him in our prayers. Yeah, he's always done that stare, but you can see the wrinkles in his cheeks are much more pronounced on the right side of his face. Like I can't really show, but like you can see, like it's almost like part of his cheek is indented. That's all from that bullet hitting his ear. Yeah, he's sliding into 80, but he's still sharp as a tack. And up until September, he was holding his looks really good. He was holding his, what I call holding his own. But I just think, yeah, he's still a very good looking man. But I just saw that picture and I thought, wow, that really shows the effect of the assassination attempt on the side of his face. Oops, wrong button. Gotta go back here. There we are. The show I'm working on for tomorrow, yeah, 10 years since running, yeah, is JFK. There's new evidence that has come out on JFK. There's videotape of LBJ's chief of staff. I believe they tried to say second in command, but I think that would be chief of staff. And he's on videotape basically saying that LBJ gave the word. He says he told Mac to take care of him. And then I've got videotape of RFK Jr. in an interview back in December where he says that he was just a little kid, but he was, on his way home from school, and that his uh, mom told him, I think he said it was his mom, told him that someone, a very bad man, has unalived Uncle Jack. Or she said, hurt Uncle Jack. And so he said his dad was walking their 4-acre property with the head of the CIA. And he said he was standing there holding on to his dad's leg, and his dad looked at the head of the CIA and said, "Did your people do this?" And the head of the CIA refused to answer. Hey, Laugh, welcome, welcome. We did on the Kristi Noem hearing. Right. Um, anyhow, I've got a whole bunch of video clips lined up for tomorrow on this of the new evidence that come out that says that LBJ is responsible for JFK, that LBJ told Mac, which I believe is his chief of staff, take care of him. And I've got a video clip of RFK Jr. in an interview last month saying that when the incident happened, that he was coming home from school and his mom, I believe he said, told him that a very bad man has hurt Uncle Jack. And so he said his dad was walking their 4-acre property and that he ran to be by his dad, and his dad was talking to the head of the CIA, and he said, I had my arm around my dad's leg, and he said, my dad said to the head of the CIA, did your people do this? And the head of the CIA refused to answer. So that tells me they did. And there's also, I got video clips that now there's proof that there were more than one shooter. Right. Um, and, you know, from me being a hunter, I know certain things. I know how a gun reacts. And if what they were saying was true, that uh, Oswald was the lone shooter and that he took out JFK, the final shot would have pushed him forward and to the left. That's not what happened. He went back and to the left. That means that shot or round, however you want to word it, came from the front. And there were some video clips that I couldn't get because, you know, with all this stuff going on with TikTok, some people are not letting their video clips be shared. And so if they won't share it, you know, I can't download it. Right. And if that would have been from the school book depository, which was coming from behind, that piece of his head would have gone forward, not backwards on the trunk. And I've got video clips on the what happened at Parkland Hospital. That was real interesting, and not a lot of people know about. Right, he did say that. But I'm planning on 1 o'clock tomorrow because I have a lot of video clips. Um, so I'm planning on it going more than one. No, Parkland was the hospital where JFK was taken. Yeah, I'm not talking about the Parkland shooting. I'm talking about Parkland Hospital. That was the name of the hospital in Dallas where JFK was taken. And some real shady stuff went on there. Some real shady stuff went on there. And this all deserves to be talked about in the open. That's why I put it for 1 o'clock tomorrow, because I want to give us at least 2 hours to talk about what actually happened. You know, I got a video clip of the Zapruder film. I tried to do the actual Zapruder film, but it's copyrighted, so I don't want to cause myself a copyright strike. But I got some other stuff. I got a video clip of the colorized version of the Zapruder film. And right, yeah, a whole different story would have been untold if they had cell phones back then. Cell phones and 24-hour news service like today, the cover up would have never happened. Well, I shouldn't say never happened. They would have tried to cover it up, but really, when you think about it, if they had cell phones back then compared to what we have today, it would have got found out. Right. And I don't know if y'all have been following the Zachary Taylor trial, where CNN defamed him on air. He was a veteran that was working with the CIA to get people out of Afghanistan. He was basically rescuing women that were being trafficked, and he was getting their entire families out. And CNN went on air and said that he was trafficking them and that he was involved with the black market. And they got his security clearance canceled. And they knew that it was canceled. And in trial, they called him a liar that he had a security clearance. He could go back to work, and went on and on and on. And the judge yesterday blew a gasket when he found out they had a letter from Helios Global telling them a year ago that they had dropped his security clearance, and CNN never told him that he didn't have a security clearance. He found out at trial. Yeah, they were found liable this morning. They were found liable. Compensatory damages, $5 million. They're working on punitive damages now. And um, they were arguing a few minutes ago because CNN was trying to block their CFO from testifying how much money they're worth. Yeah, big list of damages. And uh, General Taylor, not related to Zach, said in the plaintiff's portion of the trial that he can never work in that line of work ever again, because he said they falsely stated in their piece that he was the one trafficking these women and that he was involved in the black market regarding these women. And he said that was all false, but he said he'll never work in this line of work ever again. And so the stupid CNN lawyer says to the general, well, wouldn't you hire him? He's very, very capable. The general said, no, I would not. His reputation is damaged. Right. And these stupid people at CNN kept saying, well, he could go work at McDonald's. It's like, are you on drugs? McDonald's is not going to hire him with a tarnished reputation. These people at CNN, this trial, I would recommend y'all go to Nick Staro's channel and watch the trial. It's only a 8-day trial, but you can see the cunning in the CNN lawyers, how they tried to do trial by ambush. They pissed the judge off yesterday. They pissed him off because they stood up there and they called Zach a liar on the stand when he was testifying a couple days ago, several times. And then it come out yesterday that CNN had a letter a year ago stating that Helios Global, the person who held his security clearance, had dropped him because of the CNN coverage. And the CNN lawyer asked him, do you have a security clearance? And to Zach's knowledge, it was yes. He answered yes. So then the CNN lawyer said, then you're a liar. This whole case is a fraud upon the court. You could go right back to work now. And the judge found out yesterday that CNN had been given a letter by Helios Global a year ago that said that they had canceled, it's called dropped, Zachary Young's security clearance. They knew a year ago, and they called him a liar. And so the jury said that they're liable. The compensatory damages was $5 million, but the punitive damages, this is in Florida, and Florida has no minimums on punitive damages. So I'll watch here in a little bit and see what the outcome is of the punitive damages. But I just think it's rich. In order to get proper punitive damages, the jury has to know how much CNN's worth, off of a profit and loss statement. And the plaintiff, which is Zach Young, wanted CNN's CFO to come in and explain the profit and loss statement and everything. And the CNN lawyer said, no, we object. Yeah, I'm going to gather some information and do a stream on that probably on Tuesday, because tomorrow I'm doing JFK. On Sunday, I want to do a stream on the Palestinians' treatment of the hostages and what I can find out is going on. That's interesting. Sonny Hostin is actually a lawyer. Did you know that? You wouldn't know by her comments on The View that she's a lawyer. That's why they hand her the legal notices to read. Yeah, she and her family were slave owners. My view of her is mixed. Some of the things that she says are bombastic, and other stuff is kind of meh. So it's kind of a mix. I know that her and Chef Bobby Flay are very good friends. And that Bobby Flay's daughter is a journalist in LA. I pray that she's okay. But tomorrow should be very interesting. Right. Yeah, she's being sued for slander by two different people. Yeah, Monday is almost here. Um, she's being sued by John Fetterman, and she's being sued by Terry Underwood, both for slander. I know Carrie Underwood is suing because she said live on air, nobody listens to her music anyhow. Who cares about what she says? Because Carrie Underwood is going to sing America the Beautiful at the inauguration. And she said something that I did not know. I did not know Melania was also suing her. See, Fetterman, you know, I really like Fetterman. He's a Democrat from Pennsylvania, and because because he went to visit with Trump to see where they could uh, agree on, which is smart, a smart thing to do. She said live on air that no Democrat should do that. And he said, I'm not just a representative of the Democratic people of Pennsylvania. I'm a senator for all the people of Pennsylvania. Right. And the deal about her hating Christmas was taken out of context. She said, I hate Christmas time because it's so busy and you have so many things to do, and that she's always worried that somebody's going to get left out. That was her whole statement. That does not mean she hates Christmas. She means that she hates being so busy and everybody coming over, and that she might forget to invite someone. That's a whole different context, isn't it? Yeah. Some people are trying to say that the stroke was a ruse and blah, blah, blah. No, I don't believe that. Fetterman has been known to have high blood pressure problems for years. And yeah, um, but he's been known to have high blood pressure problems for years. And he admitted that because of the campaign, that he was not taking his blood pressure medicine right. And he got elected, and he spent, I think it was something like 8 or 12 weeks in a hospital after he got sworn in as senator. And it really has done good because he's sharp as a tack. And some people try to trash him for his choice of clothing. Well, the Democrats have said that that's okay, that he doesn't have to wear a suit. Yeah, he knew that he was okay, but he was having problems with not he wasn't having problems remembering things. He was having problems with his speech. He could remember it, but he couldn't say it. And that requires intensive speech therapy. My mom, when she had her stroke, had to go through that. And so it didn't surprise me now that he doesn't need to carry around the tablet. He can just talk off the cuff. And it's just, you know, very, very inspiring to see what good medical treatment can do for somebody. I think it's a good thing. Um, so Sunday, my stream is going to be on, yeah, I don't know if he'll do that. I just don't know. You know what I mean? Sunday's stream is going to be on the Palestinians' treatment of the hostages. They have not treated them well. Well, the funny thing to me is he has not been sticking up for Democrats. He has been telling them they need to change the way they're doing things, and they're not listening. They're not listening. And something that was telling, okay, Pete Hegseth met with John Fetterman, but Pete Hegseth didn't meet with the Democratic members of the committee. I thought he should have met with them. I did not think that was a good thing, even though I like Pete, and it will give us a fresh perspective at the Pentagon, you know, because he was a soldier in both Iraq and Afghanistan. He knows how the soldiers think, how they feel, and when Senator Warren was asking him why he would say that he would have a ruling where generals could not work for defense contractors for 10 years after they left. But he wouldn't sign that same deal. And he just looked at her, he said, because I'm not a general. I don't think like they think. He doesn't think like the generals think, which is a good thing. We need fresh, new thoughts in the Pentagon. And they tried to falsely say, you know, that he'll not do this right, not do that right. He will have a staff. The staff will do things for him. I know someone, my friend Aaron, he's quit. He quit a year ago in August. He hasn't touched another drop. His family told him that he was worthless because he couldn't hold his liquor. And here we are, like a year and a half later, and he has not fallen off the wagon. He's been called some of the most vile names by his own family just because he quit drinking. And he has not relapsed. And Pete is a Christian, and he gave credit to his wife, said that his current wife saved him, that she sticks by him through thick and thin. And they tried to really trash him. And I just don't think that it was fair. You know, it's like Mark Wayne Mullen called many of the senators on the carpet. Right. Mark Wayne Mullen, who's the senator from Oklahoma, looked at the Democrats, senators, and he said, you all know senators that have showed up to vote drunk. You all know senators that have had to get divorces because infidelities, and you sit here and claim to judge him for mistakes that he has made when he is sitting here bearing his soul, telling what he did in the past and saying, I'm not perfect. I made mistakes, but I have changed. He said, how dare you? I like Mark Wayne Mullen because he just told them to their face what they're doing. And you know what? Since they did that, they have not done that again. They have not gotten personal with a nominee like that. They tried a little bit with Pam Bondi. See, Pam Bondi's law firm is a registered uh, lobbyist, and they tried to say that she personally made $113,000 a month lobbying in Qatar in different places when it was her law firm and dozens of people at her law firm. And the law firm was paid a collective amount of 113,000 a month. And she set them straight. She said, what I did for Qatar, she said, I fought against human trafficking before the World Cup. She said, it only took me a month to bring it to an end. I thought that was a good thing. You know, you got somebody who was against human trafficking willing to go to another country and help them fight human trafficking. And here the Democrats are trying to bash her over the head for it. I just thought that was interesting. Are you still here, Laugh? I guess not. Laugh is one of my mods. She's a Democrat, but she's fair. Well, okay, good. Don't want to run her off. She's a friend. She's really helped me out a lot. I really respect her and her opinions, and she's done a lot of help for this channel. You know, she is always telling people hit the like button to go follow me on X. You know, she pushes my merch store, and that's a good thing. You know, she helps me out a lot. Right. She's not a fan of Trump, but there are things that she doesn't like that I think will eventually win her over. Like, she's not a fan of boys in girls sports, excuse me. Yeah, Monday. I'm going to be streaming on Monday, and I figured out a way that we can live stream and watch the inauguration. I have a big screen TV, and my iPad has a camera on the back side of it. I can sit here and be talking to you guys while you guys are watching the inauguration. I'll have to pick a YouTube channel so that I don't get a copyright strike, you know what I mean? I haven't figured out how to do the split screen yet, Julianne. I figured out the video clips. I figured out how to do the backgrounds and post a picture. It's a work in progress. And StreamYard isn't a lot of help. Yeah, but YouTube University will tell you how to do it on YouTube. I use a streaming software called StreamYard so that I can post to YouTube and to X at the same time. And StreamYard, here's how StreamYard said. StreamYard said, hit the share button and it will tell you through the prompts on how to share the other person's stream. I don't have a share button. And when you tell them that you don't have a share button, they didn't answer me back. They did not answer me back. I'm thinking of looking for another streaming software because StreamYard is talking about raising their prices. You know, I'm not monetized yet. So my $49.95 a month for StreamYard comes out of my pocket. And there are other softwares out there that charge less money. I don't, Nick Starro, he was talking about changing. But these are all things to think about because I have finally figured out how to do a bunch of stuff on StreamYard. But if they're going to double their fee again, then I'm going to look for another software. I'm not monetized. I can't pay $100 a month for a software just so I can stream. Because no, my daughter could, but she lives in Florida and I live in Montana. And her and I had a discussion today, and I don't think she liked my answer because she's moving up here. The original purpose of her moving up here was her to be close so she could help me out. Well, she's decided to move over by Helena, which is 6.5 hours away. Wanted me to move over there with her. I told her no. Made her mad. I told her no. The original deal was that you would move up here and be close to me. Helena is not close to me. Helena is 450 miles away. She didn't like that. All right, that's what I got for y'all today. Oh, thank you for your exquisite company. We will see you later on. Talk to y'all tomorrow. Bye now.